First strike. The quantum drive of the HMS Vindicator pulsed silently in the void of space, its massive hull gleaming under the light of unfamiliar stars. Admiral Sarah Rodriguez stood at the bridge's observation window, her weathered face reflecting both pride and determination. Humanity's first supercarrier represented decades of secret technological advancement, and now it was time to show the galaxy what Earth was truly capable of. Multiple contacts detected, Admiral. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Chen announced from his tactical station. Zexian Empire patrol vessels at bearing 047. They're moving to intercept. Rodriguez allowed herself a slight smile. The Zexians, like most of the galactic community, had monitored Earth for centuries, dismissing humans as primitive newcomers barely worth noting. That assessment was about to change dramatically. Time to intercept, she asked, turning from the window. 12 minutes at their current velocity. Their energy signatures suggest standard Imperial patrol loadout, nothing that can threaten our defensive systems. The bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, each member aware of the historical significance of this moment. The Vindicator wasn't just a warship, it was humanity's announcement to the galaxy that the era of alien condescension was over. Admiral, called out Dr. Elena Santos from her science station, I'm detecting quantum communication bursts from the Zexian vessels. They're likely reporting our presence to their command. Good, Rodriguez replied. Let them call for reinforcements. The more witnesses to this demonstration, the better. The Vindicator's AI interface, AI, projected a tactical hologram in the center of the bridge. Zexian vessels are adopting attack formation Delta. Their weapon systems are powering up. Rodriguez straightened her uniform. Open a channel to the lead vessel. Let's see how they react to a proper introduction. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the insectoid features of the Zexian commander. His compound eyes widened visibly at the sight of a human officer. This is Admiral Sarah Rodriguez of the HMS Vindicator. You are approaching a vessel of the United Earth Fleet. Be advised that any hostile action will be met with appropriate force. The Zexian's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. Impossible. Your species lacks the technological capability for deep space travel. Identify your true origins immediately or face destruction. I assure you, Commander, we are exactly who we claim to be. Humanity has simply chosen to keep certain advances private, until now. As if to emphasize her point, the Vindicator's quantum shields shimmed into visible spectrum. An unnecessary but impressive display of power. The patrol vessel's sensors would be reporting energy readings far beyond anything in their database. The Zexian commander's antennae twitched erratically. You will power down your systems and prepare for boarding. This violation of Imperial space will not be tolerated. Rodriguez shook her head. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We're here to negotiate new terms for humanity's place in the galaxy. Your Empire's policy of treating Earth as a primitive protectorate is no longer acceptable. You dare, the commander began, but Rodriguez cut the transmission with a gesture. They're charging weapons, Chen reported calmly. Let them fire first, Rodriguez ordered. Prepare to demonstrate Defense Protocol 7. Nothing too dramatic. We want to shock them, not destroy them. The first Zexian energy blast struck the Vindicator's shields with impressive force. The massive ship didn't even shudder. Shield strength at 99.97%. Araya announced. Minimal power drain detected. Rodriguez nodded. Send them our sensor readings of their attack. Let them see exactly how ineffective it was. Then power up the gravity lance, low yield only. The gravity lance was one of humanity's most impressive innovations, a weapon that could temporarily manipulate local spacetime. The Zexian ships wouldn't be damaged, but their crews were about to experience something unprecedented. A pulse of invisible force rippled out from the Vindicator. The Zexian vessels suddenly found themselves unable to maintain formation, their artificial gravity systems disrupted by localized spacetime distortions. Multiple distress calls detected, Chen reported. unable to hide a note of satisfaction. Their engines are offline, and they're reporting total failure of internal compensators. Restore their systems, Rodriguez ordered. Then send this message. This demonstration represents a fraction of our capabilities. Humanity comes in peace, but we will not be dismissed or subjugated. We await your empire's response. As the Zexian ships limped away, Rodriguez returned to the observation window. Phase 1 was complete. Humanity had made its entrance on the galactic stage. Now came the harder part, surviving the political storm that would follow. Dr. Santos, she called out, begin detailed analysis of their response patterns. Chen, compile a full tactical assessment. I want to know everything about how they reacted, from weapons protocols to communication patterns. Do you think they'll negotiate? Chen asked quietly. Rodriguez watched the retreating Zexian vessels, her expression thoughtful. They'll have to. The question is whether they'll try to destroy us first. The Vindicator hung in space, its quantum drive humming quietly, ready for whatever came next. Humanity had hidden its strength for long enough. Now it was time to reshape the galaxy. Imperial response. The Imperial Palace on Zexia Prime erupted into chaos. High Chancellor Vexthor's carapace gleamed under the crystalline lights as he faced the assembled War Council. The holographic display at the center of the chamber showed repeated footage of the human vessel's demonstration of power. Impossible. General Khazar slammed his clawed appendage against the obsidian table. These primitives were barely achieving atmospheric flight when we last assessed them. Our monitoring stations reported nothing of this advancement. Vexthor's compound eyes shifted, taking in the reactions of each council member. And yet the evidence floats in our space, General. The question is not how they achieve this, but what we do about it. Science Minister Tellera, her translucent wings shimmering with anxiety, manipulated the holographic controls. The energy readings from their vessel defy our current understanding of physics. Their gravity lance weapon alone suggests technological capabilities centuries beyond our projections. The HMS Vindicator's continued presence at the edge of Imperial space had thrown the entire Empire into turmoil. Sensor data from the patrol ship's encounter had been analyzed countless times, each review revealing more disturbing implications about human technological advancement. We must strike immediately, Khazar insisted, while we still hold numerical superiority. The longer we wait, the more likely they are to deploy additional vessels, and risk provoking a war we might not win. Tellera's antennae quivered with disapproval. The humans clearly chose this method of contact deliberately. They're demonstrating power while seeking dialogue. In orbit above Zexia Prime, the Imperial First Fleet maintained battle readiness. Dozens of capital ships and hundreds of support vessels waited for orders, their crews watching sensor feeds for any sign of additional human vessels appearing from quantum space. Admiral Rodriguez's message played again in the council chamber. Humanity comes in peace, but we will not be dismissed or subjugated. Peace, Khazar chittered mockingly. They'd bring a warship to sue for peace. Vexthor raised a limb for silence. Minister Tellera, your analysis of their technological capabilities. The science minister's holographic display shifted, showing detailed scans of the Vindicator. Their quantum drive appears to operate on principles we've only theorized about. The energy efficiency is extraordinary. Their defensive systems absorbed our best weapons without registering significant power drain. Most concerning is their apparent mastery of localized spacetime manipulation and their offensive capabilities. Khazar pressed. If the gravity lance demonstration was indeed at low power as they claimed, Tellera's wings drooped slightly. They could likely disable our entire fleet before we got within effective firing range. The council chamber erupted in angry chittering and worried buzzing. Vexthor waited for the noise to subside before speaking again. We face a choice, honored council. We can either adapt to this new reality or risk everything in an attempt to maintain our perceived superiority. A new voice spoke from the shadows. Ambassador Lexexi, respected for her diplomatic achievements, stepped into the light. Perhaps we should consider what the humans haven't done. They possess this power, yet they haven't attacked our colonies or demanded our surrender. They seek dialogue. Weakness. Khazar spat. They fear our numbers, our empire's might. Or, Lexixi continued calmly, they genuinely desire peaceful cooperation despite their military advantage. A concept you might find foreign, General. Before Khazar could respond, the chamber's emergency alerts blared. A junior officer burst in, his carapace pale with excitement. High Chancellor, we're detecting multiple quantum disturbances throughout the sector. The humans, they're deploying more ships. The tactical display updated, showing new signatures appearing at strategic points across Imperial space. Each vessel matched the Vindicator's power signature. How many? Vexthor demanded. 12? No, 15 vessels confirmed, all displaying similar capabilities to the first. Khazar's mandibles clicked rapidly. They're positioning for an attack. No, Lexixi observed, studying the tactical display. Look at their positioning. They're establishing a defensive perimeter. They're protecting their diplomatic initiative from potential aggression, while maintaining distance from our population centers. Vexthor's compound eyes focused on the display, watching as the human vessels took up their positions with precise coordination. Each ship broadcast the same message. We await peaceful dialogue. Your orders, High Chancellor. Khazar asked, his earlier aggression somewhat tempered by the display of human coordination and power. Vexthor rose to his full height. Prepare a diplomatic delegation. Ambassador Lexixi, you will lead the negotiations. But, he turned to Khazar, keep the fleet ready. If this is an elaborate deception, we will not face it unprepared. As the council dispersed, Vexthor remained, watching the tactical display. The humans had hidden their true nature for centuries, advancing in secret while the galaxy dismissed them. Now they demanded recognition, backing their claim with power that couldn't be ignored. The game had changed, and the Zexian Empire would have to change with it, one way or another. Breaking point. The neutral station Concordia hung in space between the human fleet and Zexian territory, its crystalline structure reflecting starlight like a massive prism. Inside the grand diplomatic chamber, the air was thick with tension as representatives from both species faced each other across the negotiating table. Admiral Rodriguez sat opposite Ambassador Lexixi, while Dr. Elena Santos carefully monitored atmospheric conditions on her quantum tablet. The Zexians had insisted on environmental adjustments to accommodate their physiology, and humans had agreed, a small concession to demonstrate good faith. Your emergence as a power has caused significant disruption, Lexixi stated, her translator converting her clicks and chirps into smooth English. Many within the Empire question your intentions, and many on Earth question the wisdom of revealing ourselves. Rodriguez countered, but centuries of being treated as primitives while your monitoring stations watched our every move left us little choice. Dr. Santos noted subtle changes in Lexixi's pheromone patterns, surprise, perhaps, at their knowledge of the monitoring stations. The Zexians had never admitted to their surveillance program. How did you manage to advance without detection? Lexi's antennae twitched with genuine curiosity. Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. We learned early on that your sensors had specific blind spots. Once we understood what you were looking for, we knew what to hide. The diplomatic teams continued their careful dance of words and implications, but in the shadows of the station, other forces were at work. Security Chief Victor Reyes, watching through quantum-enhanced sensors, detected the first signs of trouble. Multiple unauthorized life signs detected in the maintenance corridors. He subvocalized to his tactical network. Energy signatures suggest weapons. Lieutenant Commander Chen, coordinating security from the Vindicator, responded immediately. Confirmed. Picking up quantum fluctuations consistent with phase-shifted weaponry. They're trying to bypass our shields. Reyes's enhanced vision caught movement in the ventilation system. All teams, full alert. Protect the diplomats at all costs. The attack, when it came, was brutally swift. Phase-shifted energy beams cut through the chamber's walls, designed to bypass standard security measures. But humanity had long since mastered phase-shift technology. Rodriguez moved with enhanced reflexes, her nano-augmented muscles carrying her across the table to shield Lexexi as security barriers snapped into place. The ambassador's compound eyes widened in shock at both the attack and the human's protective action. Extremist faction. Lexexi chittered in alarm. They seek to force conflict. Rise and his team engaged the attackers with precision. Their quantum-locked armor absorbed phase-shifted attacks, while their own weapons targeted the assailants with surgical accuracy. Yet the attackers kept coming, their carapaces marked with the symbols of a radical Zexian supremacy group. The station's being sabotaged, Chen reported through the tactical net, detecting multiple explosive devices in critical systems. Rodriguez made a split-second decision. Area. Execute Emergency Protocol Omega. Authorization Rodriguez Alpha 7. The A's response was immediate. Quantum fields expanded from hidden generators throughout the station, technology the humans had secretly installed during the station's preparation. Space itself seemed to ripple as the fields activated. The phase-shifted weapons flickered and died. The attackers found themselves moving in slow motion, caught in localized time dilation fields. Human security forces, equipped to operate in the altered space-time, methodically neutralized the threat. How? Lexixi's translator struggled to convey her astonishment. This technology, it's beyond anything. We've had centuries to prepare, Rodriguez explained, helping the ambassador to her feet. Every advancement we made was with this moment in mind, not just matching your technology, but surpassing it. The aftermath brought new revelations. The attackers were traced to a hardline military faction within the Zexian Empire, one that had long advocated for the direct conquest of lesser species. Their failure, however, had demonstrated humanity's technological superiority in ways no peaceful negotiation could have achieved. Your people protected mine, Lexexi observed as medical teams treated the wounded. Despite centuries of our condescension, despite the attack, you chose to save Zexian lives. Rodriguez watched as human and Zexian medical personnel worked together, their differences temporarily forgotten in the face of crisis. We didn't advance in secret because we wanted war, Ambassador. We did it because we wanted to be respected, to be treated as equals. Equals. Lexixi's translator caught a note of irony. After today's demonstration, many will wonder if we are worthy of being your equals. Technological superiority doesn't equate to superiority of spirit, Rodriguez replied. We've learned that lesson from our own history. What matters now is how we move forward together. As emergency teams secured the station and diplomats regrouped, a new message arrived from Earth Command. The contents made Rodriguez's expression darken. It seems, she told Lexexi, that your hardliners weren't the only ones with plans today. We're detecting multiple fleet movements across the sector. Someone's trying to force this situation into open war. The ambassador's antennae drooped. The Empire's unity has been fracturing for decades. This may be the catalyst for civil war. Rodriguez straightened her uniform. Then perhaps it's time to demonstrate that humanity can be more than just a military power. We might have started this change with a show of force, but we can help guide it toward peace. As the Concordia station hummed with activity, both species faced a critical turning point. The failed attack had prevented one crisis but sparked another. The question now was whether human ingenuity and Zexian wisdom could forge a path forward before the galaxy erupted in flames. Tide of war. The tactical chamber aboard the HMS Vindicator blazed with holographic displays showing fleet movements across 3 sectors of space. Admiral Rodriguez studied the complex dance of ships and power signatures, while Ambassador Lexixi's antennae twitched as she processed the implications of what they were seeing. 7 major fleet groups have broken from Imperial control, Lexixi reported, her translator struggling to keep up with her agitated clicks. General Khazar leads the largest faction. They've already seized control of 3 primary shipyards. Rodriguez watched as red indicators spread across the strategic map. And the Loyalists. High Chancellor Vexthor maintains control of the core worlds, but our military is divided. Many commanders are waiting to see which side proves stronger before declaring their allegiance. The situation had deteriorated rapidly since the attack on Concordia Station. The failed assassination attempt had become the spark that ignited long-simmering tensions within the Zexian Empire. Now, the galaxy watched as the most powerful civilization in known space teetered on the brink of civil war. Lieutenant Commander Chen's voice cut through the strategic discussion. Admiral, quantum sensors are detecting massive energy buildups in the Arcturus sector. Khazar's forces appear to be preparing for a major offensive against the Loyalist stronghold at Zexia Beta. Population. Rodriguez asked sharply. 8 billion civilians. Lexixi responded, her voice heavy. It's our largest colony world. If it falls. Dr. Santos rushed into the tactical chamber, her quantum tablet displaying urgent data. Admiral, we've decoded their weapons signatures. They're using forbidden mass driver technology. If those hit the planetary shields. Rodriguez's expression hardened. The Zexian civil war was about to become a humanitarian crisis. Area. Alert all Earth fleet vessels. Plot quantum jump coordinates to Zexia Beta. We're executing Operation Safeguard. Admiral, Chen cautioned, intervening in their civil war could unite both factions against us, or prove to the galaxy that humanity's advancement isn't just about military power. Rodriguez countered. Ambassador Lexixi, will you stand with us? The Zexian diplomat's compound eyes fixed on the tactical display, watching as Khazar's fleet moved into attack position. The Empire's laws are clear. Any force using mass drivers against civilian targets forfeits their claim to legitimate authority. You have my support. The next hours were a blur of activity as the human fleet prepared for its first major military operation. 15 Earth vessels, led by the Vindicator, made precise quantum jumps into the Zexia Beta system. They emerged in a perfect defensive formation between Khazar's approaching forces and the vulnerable colony world. Khazar's voice boomed across all communication channels. This is an internal Imperial matter. Any interference will be considered an act of war against all Zexian factions. Rodriguez stood on her bridge, Lexixi at her side, as she broadcast her response. This is Admiral Rodriguez of the United Earth Fleet. Your forces are deploying weapons banned by Galactic Convention. Stand down immediately or face intervention. You dare. Khazar's rage translated clearly even through electronic communication. We monitored your world for centuries. You were nothing. You are nothing. Then why are you so afraid of us? Rodriguez's quiet questions seemed to hang in space. General Khazar, humanity hid its advancement not out of fear, but because we wanted to emerge as partners, not conquerors. Don't force us to demonstrate the full extent of our capabilities. The rebel fleet continued its approach. Mass drivers powered up, their deadly projectiles designed to shatter planetary shields and devastate the surface below. Khazar had chosen his path. All ships, execute Protocol Epsilon, Rodriguez ordered. Area, initiate quantum field expansion. What happened next would be recorded in 1,000 histories across the galaxy. The human fleet's quantum drives pulsed in perfect synchronization, creating an overlapping field of altered spacetime. Khazar's mass drivers fired, and their projectiles simply ceased to exist, converted to harmless energy by the quantum field. Impossible. Khazar's voice cracked with disbelief. No, Rodriguez replied calmly. Just sufficiently advanced. Stand down, General. Don't make us demonstrate what else we've learned in our centuries of preparation. The rebel fleet hung in space, their primary weapons neutralized, facing technology they couldn't comprehend. But Khazar had not risen to power through wisdom. All ships, attack. We will not bow to primitive upstarts. What followed was not a battle so much as a demonstration. Human quantum fields shifted and pulsed. Rebel ships found their weapons powerless, their engines unresponsive. Some vessels simply disappeared, transported safely to distant coordinates by targeted quantum jumps. Within minutes, Khazar's mighty fleet had been reduced to floating hulks, their crews unharmed but thoroughly defeated. The message was clear. Humanity could have destroyed them, but chose not to. You could have annihilated them, Lexixi observed quietly. Rodriguez watched as human rescue ships moved to assist the disabled vessels. That's not who we are, Ambassador. Earth's history taught us that true power lies not in destruction, but in the choice to show mercy. As the dust settled over Zexia Beta, news of the battle spread across the galaxy. The humans had not merely protected a civilian world, they had done so without taking a single life. More importantly, they had demonstrated a level of technological advancement that rendered traditional warfare obsolete. The tide of war had turned, but not through violence. Humanity had shown a different path, one that would reshape galactic civilization in ways no one could have predicted. New dawn. The great hall of the Galactic Concordat gleamed under crystalline lights as representatives from 100 worlds gathered to witness history. 3 months had passed since the Battle of Zexia Beta, and the galaxy had changed more in that time than in the previous millennium. Admiral Rodriguez stood before the assembled delegates, her uniform pristine, while Ambassador Lexixi floated beside her. The Zexian diplomat's wings shimmered with an iridescence that indicated profound emotion. The age of isolation is over, Rodriguez addressed the gathering. Humanity emerged from centuries of secrecy not to dominate, but to elevate. Today, we take the first step toward a true galactic community. On massive holographic displays surrounding the hall, images showed the fruits of human-Zexian cooperation. Quantum technology, freely shared, had revolutionized everything from medicine to space travel. Worlds once weeks apart were now connected by instant quantum corridors. High Chancellor Vexthor, his carapace bearing the scars of recent conflict, stepped forward. When the humans revealed themselves, many feared they would become our conquerors. Instead, they became our saviors. The Zexian Empire, in all its history, never imagined we would willingly transform into something greater. The former General Khazar, now stripped of rank and power, watched from a secured observation pod. His failed attack on Zexia Beta had not only demonstrated human technological superiority, but had shattered the old paradigms of galactic power. Dr. Santos approached the central podium, activating a new holographic display. The quantum network is now operational across 80% of known space. Within 6 months, no inhabited world will be more than a thought away from any other. The assembled delegates murmured in appreciation. The network represented the greatest technological leap in galactic history. Instant communication and transportation across vast distances, freely available to all species. But technology alone is not enough, Rodriguez continued. Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy is not our quantum science, but our understanding of unity through diversity. We advanced in secret because we needed to be strong enough to enforce peace, yet wise enough not to abuse that strength. Lexixi moved forward, her translator projecting clearly. The Zexian Empire stood for order through hierarchy. We believed advancement came through competition and dominance. The humans showed us a different path. Cooperation without submission, strength without subjugation. The new Galactic Concordat was more than just a peace treaty or trade agreement. It represented a fundamental shift in how civilizations interacted. Quantum technology had made traditional military conflicts obsolete, forcing species to find new ways to resolve their differences. There will be challenges ahead, Rodriguez acknowledged. Change never comes easily. But look around you. See what we've accomplished in just 3 months of true cooperation. The displays shifted to show new joint ventures, massive engineering projects, scientific breakthroughs, cultural exchanges. Species that had once viewed each other with suspicion now worked side by side, each contributing their unique perspectives and abilities. The humans had every reason to hate us, Vex Thor addressed his fellow delegates. We monitored them, dismissed them, treated them as primitives. Yet when they gained the power to dominate us, they chose instead to help us grow. That is true civilization. A small commotion near the back of the hall drew attention. A group of younger Zexians, their carapaces still soft with youth, were excitedly showing their human counterparts how to manipulate quantum fields with natural Zexian bioelectric abilities. The humans, in turn, were teaching them Earth meditation techniques to enhance their control. Rodriguez smiled at the sight. This is what we dreamed of during our long years of preparation. Not conquest, not revenge, but this, genuine cooperation, mutual growth, shared discovery. The formal signing of the Concordat was almost anticlimactic after everything that had come before. Representatives from every major species added their marks to the quantum-encoded document, creating a new framework for galactic civilization. As the ceremony concluded, Rodriguez found herself standing with Lexexi in the hall's observation dome, watching ships of all species moving through the quantum corridors that now linked the stars. "Did you really plan all this?" Lexexi asked. "From those first moments when we detected your ships." Rodriguez watched a group of children, human, Zexian, and 3 other species, playing with a quantum-enabled educational toy. "We planned to change the galaxy, yes. But this?" She gestured to the scene before them. "This is better than we imagined. We thought we'd have to fight to create peace. Instead, we just had to show it was possible." As the new dawn of galactic civilization spread across the stars, the lesson humanity had brought became clear. True power lay not in the ability to destroy or dominate, but in the wisdom to know when not to use that power. The future would be built not on the strength of weapons, but on the strength of connections between peoples and worlds. The age of isolation was over. The age of unity had begun.